Here's a professional television segue for you. For the love of real estate, Tales from the Trenches chronicles realtor Sharon Mason's decision at 40 to sort of change careers midlife and enter the eat or be eaten world of property selling to become an international top 100 agent in Vancouver. And the book's foreword is written by, well, I'll tell you that in a minute. But we'll welcome Sharon Mason to the show right now. Good morning.
Hi, George. Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Look, we all know the only way to really comprehend what a book is about is to read the book, but welcome to TV, the enemy of nuance. So what do you tell people the book's about when they ask you?
Well, what I tell them is, the book is based on the foundation of real estate, but really it's a book for everyone. I take you right into the trenches of what it's like to really be a super busy realtor so that you can actually see what we do and what it's like. And from these stories come terrific life lessons for happiness and for business and for success. So, you know, it's really for everyone. And the stories are funny. Some of them, they'll make you laugh. Some of them will make you cry. And some of them will make you just shake your head and say, you've got to be kidding me. Right?
That sounds like a good read. So your famous son, Jason Priestley, friend of the show, we're going to put up a picture. He was here just prior to the pandemic. And look, he just endeared himself to everyone around here. You got to be very proud of the man he has become. He's a fine young man. He wrote the foreword. You must be so proud.
You know, I'm really proud of Jason, and you know, people think I'm proud of him because of what he does and all that, but you know, it's not. He's a great father. He's a great husband. You know, he's a really good son, and he's a really good friend to his friends. And I'm very proud of him that, you know, he didn't sort of go Hollywood, you know, if you would.
Well.
Yeah.
Chip off the old blocks, obviously. And, you know, this is a family legacy, too, with you, right, Sharon? Your dad was a real pioneer in real estate in BC.
Yes, very much. My dad, back in the day, in the 1950s, you know, he got his license in the 1940s when all you needed was $2.50 and a pulse. And fortunately, he had both. And I watched him really change the real estate industry. He was involved in bringing in the rules and regulations in British Columbia that you know, make it a profession and keep it straight up and everything. And so he kind of passed that on to me, and now I'm passing it on to my daughter Justine Priestley.
Oh, what a great legacy.
Yeah, so it really is wonderful. And I got to tell you, though, Jason is so like my dad. You know,
oh, yeah?
Yeah, there's a picture of my dad at the back of the book, and you know, you just look at it and you just see the resemblance. You know, it's that genetic thing. You can't get away from it.
Yeah, it's there. You know, selling property, it's like selling a dream, right? It's an idea beyond just the bottom line. We know it's a big investment, but it's a very romantic, intimate, and emotional transaction, right? And for many people, it's the biggest decision next to maybe getting married they'll ever make.
Well, yeah, that's right. And thank you for your insight into all that. Because, you know, they say, well, if you're in real estate, you know, it's just business. But, you know, it can't be just business because it's your home. It's the most important thing in your life. And that's what realtors do. We help people get that home base that they can grow in, they can learn in, they can raise the children, they can create their memories. And yeah, it's very wonderful. And what we say is our friends become our clients and our clients become our friends.
Oh, that's beautiful. Sharon Mason, your dad may have been a pioneer in real estate, but you're a solid settler. You've cultivated the land and you've reaped what you've sown, and you still obviously have the buzz to continue doing what you do. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to meet you, and we hope to have you back on the show sometime.
Oh, I would just love to anytime, George. And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
We got two friends of the show.
Yeah.
Mom and son. Awesome. Thank you, Sharon. And the book is called For the Love of Real Estate, Tales from the Trenches. Jennifer.
That's it. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
History was made at the recent Miss World pageant when Khadijah Omar took the stage as the first hijabi contestant ever to take part. She represented Somalia and has firm roots here in Canada. Khadijah Omar joins us live now all the way from Kenya, fresh off the plane after the Miss World competition. Khadijah, first of all, congratulations. Thanks for joining us. You are the first hijabi Miss World contestant and the first Miss Somalia. How does it feel to be making such important history?
I don't know, I feel so amazing. This has always been a dream of mine. Since I was young, I've always wanted to be in a pageant and represent hijabi girls. So being able to be a Miss World and not just represent being a hijabi woman, but being able to represent my country, it was such an honor. And I remember even when I got called top 12, I was so shocked. I was like, wow, these are all my dreams from when I was young, and it's really happening. And even coming back home, like, everyone's really happy, and I'm so happy that I've been able to do this. I represent my country, represent being a hijabi woman. It's just, I'm filled with so much joy and happiness.
Yeah, I'm sure you must have been through the roof. Now, we know that Ms. Poland won the pageant, but you finished in the top 12, and you just mentioned that. You posted it. You posted about it on Instagram that day, saying it was perhaps one of the greatest moments of your life. Can you elaborate?
Well, even before the competition started, I told myself, whatever happens, whoever places, I feel like even just being here on the stage, I'm already like so happy. Even being able to wear my hijab on the stage was already a crowd itself to me. So I was like, whatever the results are going to be tonight, I just want to have fun, be here with the girls, because we've been through a lot throughout this whole competition. It was part 1, part 2 because of COVID, but I loved how we're able to still stay together, stay strong, and finish the show. So it was just such an amazing. This is something I'll never forget in my life.
Yeah, I'm sure. The photos looked amazing. I was looking on your Instagram. Yeah. And Khadijah, you've really had this passion for pageantry for about 5 years now. And you actually say that you felt quite nervous going into this competition because perhaps many of the other contestants have had more years of experience with this. But tell us about how it actually was when you got there, when you were in this competition, how you felt. What did you learn?
Well, in the beginning, I was telling myself, oh my gosh, what if I'm not prepared enough? Because I was actually announced Miss Somalia like a week before I left. I was like, this is something I've always loved to do, and I'm a risk taker. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to be me. And I feel like that was the best thing that I did. And like throughout this whole competition I learned so much as a person. I've been able to be more confident in myself. Just even being there representing hijabi girls, I've been more proud of being a hijabi girl myself. And it's just, I've learned so much from the girls, from everyone else's story, their passion. I've been able to work on my project, which is something that I'm very passionate about. I've started my own organization, and I was from the refugee camp, so now being able to go back in the refugee camp and help the young girls there, it just means so much to me, and I'm so honored to be able to do that. So I really can't wait to start all my projects I'm going to do, because this is just the beginning of the journey. There's so much more I'm going to do.
Yeah, and we can't wait to hear about it. We'll get into that in just a second. Now, you talk about being yourself, just being you, going into this competition. And that's kind of the inspiration you drew from your mom, who is your big hero, because her motto in life is, hey, just be you. You come from a big family. You're the eldest of 5 kids. So what was the reaction like from your mom when you told her that you were going to be Miss Somalia and, you know, the first Miss World contestant to wear a hijab?
My mom always knew I was into pageants, so because every year I tell her, oh, I want to compete in a pageant, I want to compete in a pageant. So when I finally came to her and told her, oh, I am going to be Miss World Somalia and be a Miss World, she first didn't believe it. She was like, what? This is crazy. But then after like a couple of, she was very shocked. But she was very supportive. Even my dad, throughout this whole journey, they've been very supportive for me. They even went shopping and got stuff for me. She would call me every time before I would have an interview, before my headset challenge. And she was just like, just be yourself, be confident. Just tell your story. You know who you are the best. So this is not something that would be hard for you. And that is what I take with me every time I even have an interview. I'm just like, I'll just talk and just talk on myself. So it's not hard for me. Yeah, and I feel like that's the best thing. My mom's always there for me, always telling me that you can do it. Just be yourself, be confident in yourself, put your head up high. Yeah, it's been amazing.
Very important and wise words coming from her. Khadijah, you moved to Canada in 2010. Now you're studying psychology at York University. But as you mentioned, you were born and raised in the Hagadera refugee camp in Nairobi, and you've been helping refugees in Somalia. Let's get back to the project that you're doing to help young girls as well as refugees.
Well, my Beauty with the Purpose project focuses on climate crisis in Somalia. Due to the climate crisis, a lot of people have been displaced, and that's why right now there's over 2 million people in the refugee camp. And I have been from there, so I'm like, why not be my first project where I started? So that is something I'm working on. I'm also decided I'm going to start my own organization and help the girls in the refugee camps, because I realized that girls have issue with being able to be provided with pads. And I feel like I've heard stories where girls are not, I heard stories where girls are not able to go to school just because of their menstrual period. And I'm like, that is something that is so heartbreaking to me, because I don't feel like anyone should lose the education or not be able to attend school of something so normal that every woman experiences. So that is my first project with my KMI organization. And it also goes with my Beauty with the Purpose project, because it's just all about going back and helping the girls in the refugee camp.
Wow, well, it certainly sounds like you have a lot of ambitions and projects on your plate. We know that you're also a makeup artist. So after you graduate from York University, I believe it's 2024, do you think that you're going to be doing everything very quickly? Psychologist, makeup artist, running your own organizations?
I feel like, yes, I feel like everything is possible if you have the passion for it. And I believe that I do have the passion to study psychology. I have the passion to be a makeup artist. As I always say, I've had the passion of makeup at a very young age. And I've noticed in the makeup industry when I was young, there was not that much representation of a hijabi woman. So I told myself one day I'm going to start my own brand where I can like show so much diversity of everyone, because I want someone to look at my brand and see someone that looks like them and be like, oh, I feel beautiful because I feel I'm represented. And that's why I feel like representation is so important, because it could really affect how someone feels about themselves. And when I was young, it has affected me a lot. So I was like, I want to be that difference. I want to make that change. So that is, I'm going to work. I feel like with time, I can work with everything I do want to. It'll be possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Khadijah Omar, so happy that your dreams came true. And by doing this, you are creating that representation for so many other young girls to look up to. We appreciate your time coming on CP24 Breakfast all the way from Kenya. Have a safe trip home and take care. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It means a lot being on here and be able to tell my story.
Absolutely.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Canadians were introduced to Toronto-based singer-songwriter Vi on CTV's The Launch a couple years ago. She made the show cut based on the strength of her record Blackwater back in 2018. And she's back now with her first full-length record called Afterlife. It drops today. So let's say hi to Vi. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
It's so good to have you on our show. Really appreciate your time.
Oh my God, thank you.
Vi, let's start here. Where you been the last couple of years, and how does Afterlife sort of pick up from where fans last saw you and heard from you?
I mean, for the last few years, obviously the pandemic happened, but I really took the pandemic as an opportunity to kind of reset and just focus on my craft and just kind of hone in on what I wanted this record to say and like how I wanted to make my comeback. So I've just been working.
Would you call this, you know, I ask this question for a lot of artists that sort of took time to reflect and go inside during these last few years. Would you call this a pandemic record? I mean, was a lot of it crafted during these last few years or before that?
I feel like it's a little bit of half and half. Like a lot of the concept of this album, honestly, I started putting together when I was writing my first EP, Blackwater, back in like 2016. So the ideas behind it are very old, but a lot of the honestly, it's like half, like I said, like half of the tracks I finished and wrote during the pandemic and I refined them in the pandemic, but a lot of the ideas for the songs came before.
You know, COVID complicated everything. Throughout this, was music medicine for you? I mean, was it like the great companion through the tough times, or did it ever let you down?
I mean, music has always been my constant and like a form of therapy for me. I honestly, I feel like if I didn't have my songwriting or I didn't have music as an outlet, especially during the pandemic, like I don't know where I would be right now. Like as a human, I feel like I'm very grateful to have that as my outlet. And it's almost like music is my best friend that I can talk to.
Oh, that's
all the time.
That's beautiful. Hey, Vi, were you a showbiz kid? I mean, is it a family affair? Did family, your parents kind of nudge you into the arts and performing, or was it always kind of in your DNA?
Oh, I definitely feel like I made my parents nudge me into it for the most part. Like when I was in the Middle East, I was so adamant about like, I want to be a singer when I grow up. Like I want to be Avril Lavigne. And I idolized her so much because she was a tomboy as well. And she was Canadian. And I felt like I could really relate to her. So, my parents put me in dance lessons and in like keyboard lessons, like voice lessons, all those things when I was young. But I definitely, when I moved here, I definitely was making those moves myself, like as an adult, you know.
Well, we cannot wait to hear the after effects of Afterlife, your new record. Vi, thank you so much for giving us some time. Good luck, and we hope to hear from you and see a lot more of you. And get out there and tour this one and write some more records, okay?
Thank you so much, George. Have a great day.
You too.
Windsor was host to some major manufacturing news, the largest auto investment in the province's history. Stellantis and LG Energy Solution investing more than $5 billion to build the first large-scale lithium-ion battery production plant in the country, fully functional by 2025. So for more on just what this means, we're joined live via Skype once again by Brian Kingston, President and CEO of the Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association. Brian, this is certainly huge news, 2,500 jobs, a large manufacturing facility. It's great for Windsor and the province, but why is this so significant for the Canadian auto manufacturing industry?
This is massive for the Canadian industry because it shows that Canada is playing a role in this transition to electrification. If you look at what global automakers are doing right now, they're investing over $515 billion into this transformation to electrification. And Canada, over the past couple of years, has been on the receiving end of some of that investment. Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis have now invested over $12 billion into Canada, much of that dedicated to electric vehicle manufacturing. So it's really exciting. It's going to create jobs, it's going to create export opportunities, and it's going to secure Canada's role in this electric transformation.
All right, and now, Brian, specific to the electric vehicle market, is there a need for large-scale EV battery plants like this one?
Yes, there is. And when you look at the targets that governments are setting in terms of EV sales, in Canada, we're aiming for 50% of all new vehicle sales to be electric by 2030, on the path to 100% by 2035. The United States is aiming for 50% sales by 2030. So when you work back from that and look at what that means in terms of actual vehicle production, this is a huge increase. And these vehicles are powered by batteries. So we need the critical minerals that go into the batteries and then the actual manufacturing of the batteries to take place. And that's why you're seeing automakers moving at such a rapid pace right now and making these types of investments.
Right. Brian, the federal government certainly has an ambitious goal in terms of selling electric vehicles by 2030, 2035. But right now, only 5% of vehicles sold in Canada are electric vehicles. So how do you think we're going to boost the demand for them?
Yeah, that's the key. We've secured the investment into the production. Now we really need to focus on helping Canadians make that switch to electric. And we know what the challenges are. They're well documented. Electric vehicles are more expensive because the technology is still developing. So we need big consumer incentives at both the provincial and federal level to help all Canadians make the switch. On top of that, charging infrastructure. You will not buy an EV if you can't charge it at your home or find very convenient charging infrastructure near your home. So without those investments, we're going to have a hard time increasing adoption beyond the 5% we're at now.
Right. And staying with that charging situation, you know, Tesla is an electric vehicle. They have their own charging stations. Is there some kind of goal to make all electric vehicles use the same charger so that we're not dealing with like an Apple, BlackBerry, Nokia situation?
Absolutely. I mean, that's the overarching objective, is to have a national charging infrastructure network that all vehicles can access. Because at the end of the day, people make purchases of vehicles based on their lifestyle and what's going to be convenient for them. So if it turns out that you can't find a charge anywhere between, where you work and where you take your kids to hockey, that's going to make a big decision on whether or not you buy an EV. So we have to have totally accessible charging infrastructure, and it needs to be everywhere. It has to be ubiquitous, or people won't make the switch.
Okay, absolutely, but certainly very exciting news. Brian Kingston, President and CEO of the Canadian Vehicle Manufacturers Association, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Time-lapse video shows preparations on Hollywood Boulevard. The 94th Annual Academy Awards air Sunday night on CTV. Joining us now for a preview of the Oscars is Etalk's Lainey Louie. Good morning, Lainey. So this is exciting. The Oscars are bringing back hosts, and we've got a few comedians on the slate.
Yeah, it's going to be 3 hosts. So for a few years, we had no host, and now we're coming back with 3 hosts. So that would be Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, and Amy Schumer. All 3 women will be presiding over the Oscars on Sunday night. It's going to be really exciting. Their chemistry looks amazing so far. They're funny, they're bold. So it's going to be a great show with the 3 of them at the helm.
Yeah, it'll be a good range of hosts indeed, Lainey, but also a wide range of presenters and performers this coming up Sunday.
That's right. So let's start with the performances, because the biggest superstar in the world is scheduled to perform at the Oscars. That would be the one and only Beyonce. She's been nominated for her song Be Alive from the King Richard soundtrack. She will also, the rumor has it, she may be opening the show. So all eyes are going to be on Beyonce. She hasn't performed live in 2 years. This is a big get for the Oscars, and that is definitely going to be one of the storylines coming out of Sunday.
Oh, yeah, that's a huge get for sure. And Lainey, let's talk about Etalk's extensive coverage. You, along with your teammates from Etalk, will be going. So aren't you excited?
Well, I'm not going.
Oh,
I'm staying here.
Sorry.
But Liz Trenier is going to be on the red carpet on Sunday talking to all the stars. Will Smith, Nicole Kidman, Kristen Stewart, Jessica Chastain. We have the only Canadian position on the red carpet. Liz will be holding court there. And of course, the rest of our team, yes, will be posting on social media. We are pushing to digital. We have all exclusive moments from multiple positions at the Oscars. So yes, this is our big bonanza. We've been doing it for a long time, and we've been training all year for this. So tune in, definitely.
It's great to watch the setup, Lainey, that's for sure. Before we let you go, can I quickly get your pick on Best Picture this year?
Yes, I think it's going to be Coda. Coda for Best Picture.
Coda.
Okay, that's something we have to watch. I've seen like every other one except for Coda.
I haven't seen that one either, so
Yeah.
okay.
It's
Lainey,
a good
thanks
one.
for
Get
this.
your
Really
tissues
appreciate
ready,
this.
though.
Yeah, we'll look forward to Etalk's coverage coming up on Sunday.
Thank you.